India's loss in the first test of the two-test series against South Africa has obviously raised a lot of questions and, truth be told, ended the year 2023 on a rather disappointing note if you're an Indian cricket fan, because it meant that of the three major objectives that you thought Indian cricket would have wanted to achieve this year, it meant none of them were achieved. You didn't end up winning the World Test Championship final. You ended up losing in the final of the ICC World Cup, which meant that your trophy drought has now extended beyond the 10-year mark as far as ICC tournaments are concerned. And what's more, your final frontier, South Africa, a place where you've never won a test series, will continue to remain just that, because quite frankly, it's only a two-test series, and even if you manage to pull off a miracle and win at Newlands in Cape Town, you're only drawing the series. No series win. The final frontier as of now remains unconquered. But what it's also done is, unfortunately or otherwise, bring a lot of scrutiny on the role of Captain Rohit Sharma. Now, you remember rather that a couple of days back we had done some videos wherein, we covered the fact that there is a certain subset of fans who have been clamoring for the return of Virat Kohli to test captaincy, and we also did a full dugout video on why it is that maybe Rohit Sharma deserves a little bit more time to turn things around. However, another former player now has weighed into this particular debate and has actually made some pretty explosive statements regarding the fact that Rohit Sharma is India's test captain, and even raised a few questions on his spot in the playing 11 as a batter, never mind as a captain. The player in question is none other than Badrinath, who a lot of you would remember as being a mainstay of the Chennai Super Kings for their title winning runs in 2010-11. He was one of their mainstays at that point in time. And like many other former cricketers, he's nowadays running a YouTube channel of his own wherein he actually raised a few points about why it is he feels that Rohit Sharma, never mind being captain, should not even be a guaranteed starter in the playing 11, and also vouched for making Kohli the test captain once again. In fact, these were his exact words. He said, "There is no comparison between Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Kohli is a big player in terms of test cricket. Why is he not leading and a weaker player is?" Now, that weaker player line might no doubt feel like a bit of a stinging rebuke for many, because after all, despite whatever else you want to say, Rohit has largely rebuilt himself as a test cricketer in the recent times, because remember, he used to play initially in the lower middle order, never really did well. His test career seemed done and dusted, but he got a new lease of life when he again tried to open in test cricket, and by and large has done well, with an additional caveat that we'll come to later on. But the weaker player debate maybe comes from the fact that when you compare the test numbers of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, they are very much chalk and cheese, and you can say that that was maybe because Rohit wasn't given enough chances, which is not very true. They did try very hard to make him a test player before giving up and then trying again and succeeding the second time around. In fact, Badrinath went on to actually mention Kohli's stats not just as a batter, but even as captain when it comes to away series, and said that, this is a guy who's won more tests than so many legendary captains, and he was put aside for no good reason, and Rohit was given the captaincy instead. In fact, he goes on to make one other further big claim, which, as I mentioned, was questioning Rohit's place in the team in the first place. He said, "Rohit is a weaker player than Kohli and has been in and out of the test team. I don't think Rohit is a proven opener outside India. Then why is he there?" Those last two lines, I think, are the real key parts as to why it is his criticism may come across as a bit stinging, but also point driven. Because again, I don't think Rohit is a proven opener outside India. Then why is he there? Is Rohit a proven opener outside of India? In a nutshell, he's really not. And in fact, if you take a quick look at his statistics when you're talking about overseas tests, particularly the Sena nations, so South Africa, England, New Zealand and Australia, his overall numbers do take a significant dip. There's no sugarcoating that. In fact, if you go over Rohit's numbers in Sena tests, they read like this, and believe me when I say it's not pretty. He's played 21 test matches overseas in the Sena countries, so South Africa, England, New Zealand and Australia. He's played 21 games, only scored 1,182 runs, with his average, which is in the late 40s right now, dipping to 30.30, and only the single 100 that he scored in these 21 matches. Again, as I said, not the best returns from a player who you do think you would be expecting far better from. And whilst Rohit's numbers, if you're looking at it as an opener in India, fairly good, away they tend to drop significantly. In fact, it's not even like a slight drop off, which to be fair is expected when you're playing in conditions that are not you're not used to or are a little bit alien to you. This is a significant drop off, and I think that's also one of the reasons why it is so many questions are swirling over Rohit. With Kohli, you knew that even if his captaincy at times could be hit or miss, but not less so in Test cricket, you knew that he was always delivering with the bat. Rohit, on the other hand, his captaincy has been a bit hit or miss. In fact, it's been more miss than hit in Test cricket in away series, and his batting in itself has raised a lot of questions. In fact, one of the reasons why there's so much ire that's being directed towards Rohit and even head coach Rahul Dravid is if you look at India's recent records in Sena nations. The last time before this that India were playing, in fact, if you look at the last 7 games that India have played overseas, or the last 6 games rather, if you're looking at it, they've only won. They won 1. That's it. They played 3 tests in South Africa in the 2021-22 season. They won 1, lost 2. In fact, the first test of that series was the one they won. Lost 2 back-to-back thereafter, ended up losing the series. After that, there was a one-off test which they played in England, lost that as well. World Test Championship this year, you lost that as well. So that's actually 5 tests, 6 tests rather, 3 in South Africa, 2 in England, that's 5. And now 1 in South Africa, which you've also ended up losing. So of the 6 tests, you've only won 1 and you've lost the other 5. And what's more, the other 5 defeats have all come on the trot. 2 in South Africa, 2 in England, and now 1 in South Africa. And you're only going to Newlands, Cape Town, a place where India have never won a test match, in the hopes of salvaging a draw in this series. And not just salvaging a draw, by the way, but also getting crucial World Test Championship points. You remember that India before this were very much in the top 2, but this loss made them slip down to 5th and in fact 6th after the fine for the slow over rate was put in place, and that fine of course was the deduction of points. So not the best of times for India, but this has raised a lot of questions, let's say, about the future of Rohit Sharma as a captain. I mean, given his age, he was never going to be a long-term option, which is also why perhaps he's not been given as much of a leeway to build a side. I mean, there are mitigating circumstances. The side's very much in transition. There is new talent that is being blooded, but is not yet ready for Test cricket. Rohit himself in await conditions has struggled. There are mitigating circumstances which will go away with time, but Indian fans are asking for success. They're asking for it now, which means that maybe a quick turnaround is what's needed. That though, given the next game is in Cape Town, might be easier said than done. But what are your thoughts on the entire matter? Do you agree with S. Badrinath? Do you disagree with him? Do you think maybe all of this is just much ado about nothing? You can let us know all of that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon as well. Follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out other videos we've posted as well, and stay tuned, plenty more coming your way. For now though, from my side,